All right, guys, let's get into the December forecast for 2021. Oh man, I feel so cliche saying this, but it is so wild that it's December already. Oh my, okay. I know I talked about the beginning of December in my most recent energy update episode and for the week of November 29th as we move into December. The first couple of days of December are really going to feel like a huge purge and a huge release of old things that are just coming up to resurface. After we had that lunar eclipse, it brought up a lot. It brought up and stirred up a lot that was underneath the surface. And if you guys listen to my November update, then I had this like analogy of us really digging up, like it's like we're excavating the land in front of our house, and we're like digging up all the dirt and up all the shit to really like put in new pipes for our house and like really at a core foundational level we're making these big changes and these upheavals in order to create new change and have new foundations for ourselves and have like more stability in our lives in the ways that are needed where we had just been living from like our comfort zone and just living in things because they were comfortable even though they weren't the best for us. So it's like a really uncomfortable process of changing all those things, but it's necessary. And so that's the energy of like moving into the first couple days of December, and as I'm recording this on the 2nd, it's like, because I was like, "Whoa, I oh my god, December. I need to do a December update, like, what?" Anyways, it's so funny how time just, like yeah, anyways. So, moving into the first week of December, it's really gonna be a big, and especially with this new moon solar eclipse on Friday night, which depending on where you are in the world, it could be Friday, it could be Saturday, December 3rd or 4th. But for me, I'm in Hawaii, so this is going to be on the evening of Friday, December 3rd, which is tomorrow, the day after that I'm filming this or recording this. And so this new moon is really bringing up a lot of things for us to again like shift and clear and really fully release and let go of all that stuff that was really old that wasn't serving us that really needed to be looked at and removed. And this is going to depend on what house this is sitting in for you. So really consult your chart and what house you have Sagittarius in for what area of life this will be in fact impacting for you and what area of life you can set new intentions around, and especially as it relates to your belief systems, like what belief systems do you want to be integrating around the time of this new moon? Like what do you really want to be believing true for yourself and possible for yourself, and how is that going to expand you to have these new belief systems, and how that is that going to support you in tapping into your joy and tapping into your optimism and tapping into your hope and your ability to really think bigger and expand in your viewpoint and your beliefs of things. So that's the biggest energy for the 1st of December is really like the first few days of December, really up until the 5th, I would say, is tapping into what about your belief systems do you really want to change? What do you really want to integrate as it relates to you being more tapped into your expansion and your optimism and your hope and your joy, and really being more in tune with those things and reframing your perceptions and your belief systems and your thought patterns to align with that in a way that really moves you forward. So that's the biggest thing in the 1st of December. It really gets more chill after that. December does the energy. And anyways, we will have the moon on the 5th and the 6th of December, and I'll go more into detail on these things when I do the weekly updates. So make sure you're subscribed to check back for those. But we have right after the moon is moving into Capricorn. Obviously, it's in Sagittarius, so it's going to move into Capricorn next. And we have it joining Venus and Pluto, which will really be having us take a deep-seated look again at our belief systems as it relates to our values, our relationships, our finances, and our transformation, and really getting deep on all those things so we can look at them and restructure them. Then we have the moon moving into Aquarius. It'll be joining Saturn. So we're going to be getting really disciplined and serious about these changes that we want to make as it relates to our future vision and the innovations that we can make in our lives that will expand us and also all the people around us and humanity as a whole, because our our change is the collective change. Then the moon will be moving next to Jupiter, which will again be having us really think, okay, what changes can I make? How can I expand my horizons and my vision of myself and my future to really be more from coming from a place of expansion and joy and optimism? We had Neptune go direct on the 1st of December, which is super exciting. And again, consult where you have Pisces in your chart. And again, all these things will affect you differently depending on what's in your chart and where these things are hitting in your chart. But Neptune and Pisces going direct is like we're finally getting a clarity. We're finally like the mental fog is clearing. We're really having like this clear directive and vision towards what we're moving towards, and we really feel like we can take action towards it. And like nothing's holding us back anymore. Nothing's standing in our way. We're not really as mentally foggy as we were the past few weeks. We're not having as like scary and vivid dreams as we were. And again, this is going to depend on your chart, but things are just really clearing up after Neptune went direct on December 1st. So really excited about that. I am. And then the moon on December 10th, Friday, will be joining we'll be joining Neptune. So it's a really great time to just, again, get clear on what your future vision is for yourself and how you can really move toward it and take action towards it with optimism and with joy and with hope and with these feelings of expandedness. So on December 13th, I see is a pretty big day because let's see, on the 12th, we have the moon joining Chiron. And Chiron has been retrograde for a while, and it's actually going to be, I think it's been retrograde since the summer of 2021, and it's going to be going direct in December, which I'm also super excited about. Like December just to me feels like a very exciting month. It feels like there's a lot of positive changes happening. And even if like it starts off kind of rough and it starts off really emotionally tumultuous and we're like not sure where our footing is or where our grounding is, like that is going to change throughout the month and get a lot more clearer, and really we'll have a lot more solid foundation for ourselves and be able to take action towards creating that for ourselves than we kind of ever have really all year. So I'm really excited about December, and this December specifically is really going to move us forward and push us forward into the next year and a half as well, because we're gearing up for the nodal shifts, which I'll probably do a whole podcast episode on, honestly, because there's so much to talk about as it relates to the nodes shifting into Taurus and Scorpio. And that's another big phase and theme of, not phase, but a big theme of the new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius at the beginning of December is like really finally like having finality and finally shifting these belief systems and really getting clear and embodied and taking action towards moving in a new direction with these ways that we want to take our life, and no longer living from those old paradigms or those past paradigms like we were. We're really starting a new chapter here with this new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius on the 3rd or the 4th, wherever you are in the world. We're really starting a new chapter of our lives and a new phase of our lives in a really, really, really big way. And that is kickstarting us forward into the next year and a half as we gear up for this nodal shift. And this December is really like, it's like a rocket propelling us forward into the new year. It's a really exciting month. And I see everything that like happens and is like being brought up to release as a really good thing, even if it's like hard in the moment and tough to deal with in the moment. It's really a positive thing overall, and like big picture, larger vision, higher perspective. It's like it's a really great positive thing that's really shifting us forward in really big ways that we can't all like foresee all of yet as they're happening right now. Like we're so like zoomed in from our narrow perspective based on the present moment that we can't really see how big these changes are, but they really are going to be impacting us in really big ways, especially moving forward again, like I said, into the next year and a half of our lives. So on December 13th is a bigger day, just because we have the Mars moving, the Mars. I'm like talking way too fast. Mars moves into Sagittarius, which is really, I see as really positive because Mars was in Scorpio for a while. And that really had us like, bringing up a lot of intense emotions, a lot of intense psychological beliefs, a lot of intense, deep subconscious work, and taking action towards that. And with Mars moving into Sagittarius, it might be a little bit rough the first few days of this transit because it's going to be on the South Node, which again will be another release and purge. But again, I feel like this is going to be really positive overall. It's really going to be gearing us to take that expanded action in a really positive way. That's really going to lead us in a new direction with vigor, with hope, with courage, with confidence and bravery, and like really just have us really expanded in that action that we're taking and that vision that we have for ourselves that we're moving towards. So Mars is going to be moving into Sagittarius on the 13th, and Mercury will also be moving from Sagittarius into Capricorn, which I'm super excited about Mercury going into Capricorn because Mercury in Sag is kind of a rough place for Mercury to be. Like it is not fun. Mercury is in detriment in Sagittarius, and it's kind of like it's almost like this energy of the Mercury retrograde a little bit, especially as Mercury was squaring Pisces or Neptune and Pisces there for a little bit. Was like, oh God, we just like there's communication issues. Like we're just not saying things in the right way. That's like being communicated clearly to someone else, and it's like causing all this friction and all these problems and this like, like that's kind of like the energy of like Mercury and Sag. How I felt like it went. Um, and so Mercury and Capricorn, I'm really excited about because we're really going to have more structure and better articulation with the way that we're communicating things in our lives and really come from a more grounded place with our communication. Mercury and Sag is kind of like all over the place. And nothing's really like concise or consistent, but Mercury and Capricorn is like the opposite of that. It's like we're really grounded and really practical with the way that we're speaking and communicating to people. So I'm really excited about Mercury and Capricorn. What else do we have going on the 13th? I think those are the biggest things I've seen. The moon will be moving through Aries that day. So again, we'll just be feeling really inspired to take action towards new things in our lives and really like start this new chapter in a really invigorated, empowered way. On the 18th of December, we got the full moon in Gemini. It is at 29 degrees Gemini. No, let me see. Nope, that's wrong. It's at 27 degrees Gemini, which is like the end of Gemini, like the end of that zodiac sign. I mean, the last degree is 29, so it's like on its way out. And this is like this is really again ending that big phase that we were in for the last year and a half of those nodal transits being in Gemini and Sagittarius. Like we're really like coming into a new phase of our lives, and this full moon will really be illuminating like the ways in which we like can really be embodied in our communication and our thought patterns and our perceptions of the world and the stories that we're telling, and how we can really like live from that place and really move forward with that knowing and that knowledge and that curiosity that we've had about our belief systems and our stories and our old paradigms in the past, like really choosing to be embodied in those new things and moving forward with them. And that's the big theme of the nodal shifts in Taurus and Scorpio, is embodiment. That's what I see the highest version of Taurus as, is like true embodiment in the physical, like not just talking about things for the sake of talking about them or learning about things for the sake of learning about them, but fully being embodied in that knowledge. And that's one of the biggest things I see changing next year with these nodes shifting, is like really truly being embodied in everything we've been wanting to learn about, everything we've been wanting to shift and change in our lives, and really like choosing to be embodied with that and take that forward with us into the next phase and next chapter of our lives. And speaking of embodiment and the nodes shifting into Taurus and Scorpio, if you guys don't know already, on January 11th, 2022, I'm launching and will be beginning the Understand Astrology and Human Design School. I'm so excited about this, you guys. Like, this is really what I've been the most excited about, like almost all year, and sharing with you guys. It's really been a long time coming that I've been creating this school and this course for you guys to really learn astrology and human design and really get to know how to understand your chart and how the transits are affecting your chart in a really simple way. There's a lot of convoluted and confusing information about astrology and human design out there, and I'm really here to bring it to you guys in a way that's simple, that's easy to understand, that's easy to learn. Like, you could teach this stuff to your grandma with everything that I'll be teaching you in this course, like in the school. And I'm so excited. So if you're interested in signing up, there's a limited number of spots available. I'm keeping this is going to be the first launch and enrollment period of the school. So I'm going to keep this first group really small and intimate. So if you want to book your spot and get ahead and make sure that you're in for January, it's going to be an 8-week immersive where there will be a course launching every single week about astrology and human design. And then we will have a group call and a question and answer with me every 2 weeks to go over the material more in depth and also help you apply it to your charts and the transits. And we'll really just be helping you learn astrology and human design and really understand how it works, so that you can have this tool in your toolkit and these resources in your box of resources to be able to use this stuff on your own and not always need someone else to tell you what's going on, so you can really start to make these interpretations and predictions yourself and know what's coming for you and for those around you. And yeah, I'm super duper excited. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, you'll have voice message support with me throughout the whole 8 weeks too. So we'll be all in a container together in a group chat, and you'll have access to everyone that's taking the course and in the school, as well as one-on-one support from me throughout the whole 8 weeks together. So I'm really excited. This is the first time I've offered something like this, and it's been such a like point of expansion for me to really teach astrology and human design to you guys. So I'm super 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 excited. I hope to see you in the school. We start January 11th, 2022. The link is in the show notes below if you want to book your spot ahead of time. Yeah, super excited. So hope to see you there. And right after the full moon in Gemini, we will have Virgo. Why did I say Virgo? Venus going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. Venus has been in shadow all month, so that's been slowly going into retrograde all of December. But on the 19th, it actually goes retrograde, and this will be retrograde, I believe, until mid-January or late January. And really will be having us reframe and shift our values around money, around our finances, around our relationships, all relationships in our lives, around our material possessions, and really getting clear on like what values relate to those things and what type of people we want to have in our lives, the relationship we want to have with people, the relationship we want to have with money, and really what that's going to look like and how we can structure our lives to align with that. Venus is going retrograde on Pluto. So it's like this is a big time of transformation for a lot of people. This could also look like a big shift like in the financial sector of like, for the collective, like for the United States or for the world, depending on if you're in the United States or not. But this is big energy, and this is like all of the things that are happening in December this year are really leading us into 2022. So it's like this is our foundation for moving into 2022 is like kind of reframing, not kind of, like it's going to be absolutely reframing our values around money and what that looks like, and also our ability to bring money in for our lives and have that structure in place in our lives to create money where it's not as much as like a stress or a worry or a concern, and it's just like we're really seeking to create these structures and this foundation of just having money support us no matter what. And so that's the big energy for the end of December as we move into the big holidays. Really getting clear on what our value systems are around having money, around our relationships, like what we truly value in our life, what things really truly matter to us, and how we can align ourselves and our lives with that. And again, big theme of embodiment here. So how can we really truly be embodied in those things that we say we want, in those things that we say that we value, and getting clear on what that is, and that we're worthy of it innately and inherently worthy of having those things. And it really just takes the clarity around it to bring it in. And on the 19th too, we have Chiron going direct. So all the healing that we've been really doing around our ability to take action, around our confidence, around our ability to really initiate things in our lives is going through a big change and a big healing. And we'll be taking that, Chiron was retrograde. So that was a lot of internal reflection on those things, on our confidence, on our bravery, on our ability to show up in our lives and lead, and our ability to just take action, take inspired action, no matter what the quote unquote consequences could be. We've really been doing a lot of internal reflection around that and what that looks like for ourselves. And again, consult where you have Aries in your chart for how this is going to be impacting and affecting you. For me, I have Aries in my 7th house. I'm a Libra rising. So this has been showing up for me big time in my relationships. This was also hitting gate 21 and human design for me, which I have my Mars in. So this was just like, yeah, a big healing for me in terms of taking action towards creating more sustainability and money in my life and how my relationships play into that. And so, yeah, again, this is going to depend on what's going on in your chart for how this is going to affect you on an individual level, but as a collective, at a collective level, like we're really healing the ways in which we've been taking inspired action or not taking inspired action and really holding ourselves back from doing that. So December 19th, this is a big shift in terms of really taking that action. Like we've been getting clear on what changes we need to make and what action we need to take in our lives. And this shift, this transit is really going to wake us up and be like, okay, now's the time. now it's time to take action. Now it's time to implement these changes. Now it's really time to like kickstart this. And it's going to be like this just like forward momentum that we can really hold with us and take with us into the next phase of our lives, the next year and a half. Okay, so that's on December 19th. On December 24th, we have and that's kind of like the peak of December, I feel like, where we'll really be feeling like good, like everything built up to this point, and so that we can really like be embodied and empowered with taking action in our lives, making these changes happen. On the 24th, we have a grand trine with earth signs. So the moon will be in Virgo, we have Uranus and Taurus, we have Mercury in Capricorn trining Uranus and trining the moon. So this is a really big day to create foundation for yourself, and this is Christmas Eve, right? This is a big day to really get clear on the foundations you want to have in your life, the structures you want to have in your life, and who in your life is sitting with you in those foundations and in those structures, and really like not settling for people just because you're comfortable with them. Before that, though, we have the sun moving into Capricorn, so this will be just shifting our focus on our structures again, and really getting clear on what structures and what foundations we want to have in our lives, and really acting from that place. We still have Venus on Pluto, so it's like we're really going through a huge transformation with our finances, with our value system, with our ability to tap into our self-worth and be really clear about our self-worth. And on this day, this is a big day, guys. Like, this is probably the biggest day in December. Not only because of all those things that I just mentioned, but because, well, also Jupiter, there's so much going on this day. Whoa. The more I stare at this chart, the more I'm like, oh, whoa, this is a big day. Jupiter is about to go into Pisces, which Pisces is the traditional home planet. Or home, what did I say? Did I say Pisces? Pisces is the traditional home sign of Jupiter. In traditional astrology, before Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus were discovered, Jupiter ruled over Sagittarius as well as Pisces. So Jupiter going into Pisces is like kind of like a comfortable spot for Jupiter to be. So this is going to be really positive for a lot of us. And again, depending on where this sits in your chart, if you have Pisces ruling in 12th house and you're in Aries rising, I don't know that this will be as beneficial for you. It will be in the long term, but it's going to bring up a lot of deep-rooted stuff if you have Pisces ruling in your 12th house, which you probably do if you're in Aries rising, but not going to get into that type of horoscope right now, because that we would be here forever. But Jupiter going into Pisces, I really see as positive. I really see as like a lot more expansion, not only within our ability to be tapped into our intuition and spirituality, but our ability to like heal ourselves and really sharing those gifts with other people. Like, I really see a lot of people in 2022 really starting to share their gifts more, and in terms of like self-healing and self-help and healing the collective, and helping people to heal themselves and supporting people in their own self-healing. I really see a lot of healers, a lot of intuitives, like really waking up to their gifts and sharing them with the world. And if you guys aren't new to my podcast or new to following me, you probably saw on my Instagram, I'm doing a Get Paid for Your Gifts program, where if you're looking to be this type of light worker, this type of healer that really makes a business out of what you are doing, sharing your gifts and sharing your knowledge and sharing your talents, I'm here to help you create structure around that, and to show up on social media and in places where you really get seen and you get heard and you have the ability to get paid for sharing your gifts with the world. We all deserve to get paid for our gifts, especially if you have a defined heart and human design. Like, you need to be getting paid for the work that you're doing. So that's just wanted to plug that offering in there for any of you guys that are like, oh, I want to start sharing my gifts. I want to start sharing my healing journey and really helping people, but I just don't know where to start. Or I'm overwhelmed by social media and I don't know where the best place is to show up. Or maybe even you've tried showing up in a lot of social medias in the past and it just hasn't helped you, or it just hasn't had the impact that you wanted it to have, or maybe it hasn't like made you money and you kind of gave up. So I have been through that. I've worked with so many marketing coaches and business coaches that were telling me to do generic bullshit that just didn't work for me. And So I found my own best way, and I'm here to guide you with that as well as with the guidance of your astrology and your human design, because it's just something business coaches aren't doing, is helping you create a business, a soul aligned business based off your unique individuality and specifically your astrology and human design. So, what I do in my program is I help you get paid for your gifts based on what your astrology and human design is and how you can follow that to really live in alignment with yourself and with sharing your gifts so that it does result in success. Because a lot of business coaches and marketing coaches are just giving generic bullshit advice that isn't catered to the individual, and we all have a different life path. So I really cater business advice to your charts specifically and how you can do the best things for you based on in your business based on your charts. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a message. I believe it's listed on my offerings page as well. I can't remember if I made it public or not, but if it's not public, just reach out to me and I'll get you the information. Um, I just felt really called to share that with you guys. So any of you guys that are really wanting to just wake up to sharing your gifts and really start putting yourself out there in big ways on social media and create income for it, yeah, I'd love to support you. So, okay, what else do we have going on? Oh, this is the biggest thing of December 24th is Uranus squaring Saturn, like an exact square to Saturn on the morning of, again, depends on where you are in the world, but for me here in Hawaii, the morning of December 24th is when Saturn makes an exact square to Uranus. And this is the third one of this year, I believe. So this is why this year has been so many changes and changes to our structure, and why we felt so unstable and ungrounded in so many ways this year is because of these major transits happening. And it going exact is like a big shift, repivot. Like it's like we're really being woken up to the things we need to shift in our lives. And again, with all everything else that's happening this month and everything that's going to be happening in the next year, like it's really calling us forward into a new phase to really be disciplined in that. Be disciplined and structured with our ability to make changes and really show up for them and be embodied in what those look like for our lives, and not just be like, okay, yeah, I know I need to make this change, but I'm just going to stay comfortable instead. Like it's like, no, this transit comes around to shake you up, to be like, we're moving forward here, like we're moving towards a higher vision. Like either you come with us or you're gonna fall behind and be miserable and be frustrated and be met with all this resistance and this frustration and this tumultuous energy because you're resisting the change. What we resist persists. And so this transit is like a big shakeup to really change. And I'll be going more into this day and into this transit and my weekly update for this week, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm really excited about. Because talking about it now and actually living it then it's completely different, two completely different things, but it's really going to bring a lot of shakeup in terms of our discipline and our structure and our foundations in our life. This is Saturn rules discipline, Saturn rules structures, Saturn rules foundations. It rules those karmic lessons, those bigger things that it's we were kind of hiding from ourselves, that we weren't allowing ourselves to see, because change is scary, change is hard, change is not what our innate response to things. It's kind of the energy of it's uncomfortable, it's hard, it's tough, but that's also where the most growth happens, and where we have the most potential to align with higher possibilities and higher potentials and really be aligned with our true life purpose, which in the past most of us haven't been living in alignment with our true life purpose. We've just been trying to get by for the sake of getting by, and this transit is really coming to be like, no, you're going to be supported no matter what. Just do what you love. Do have structure and foundation around that. And that's your new foundation for success in your life. So that's the biggest thing I see for the end of December. Yeah, Christmas is going to be interesting this year if you celebrate. And then on the 28th of December, which is another really big day, we have Jupiter fully moving into Pisces. And like I was saying a little bit ago, this I'm really excited about. If you're a Libra rising, as I am, this is going to be sitting in your 6th house. So you're going to be feeling really expanded in your work and your career and your routine and in your health. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about this because Jupiter went into Pisces earlier this year, and this obviously was a different transit because of everything else that was going on then. You know, it affected the nodes back in the summer of 2021, but it went into Pisces. Jupiter went into Pisces in May, at the end of May, and went back into Aquarius, I believe, mid July or end of July. So reflect back on May to July of 2021 and how that was for you, because that was a little bit of a foreshadowing of what the next year will be as it relates to this Jupiter and Pisces transit. And again, this one's going to be completely different because of everything else in the sky that it's affecting this time around versus what it was affecting in the summer. But, you know, just for kind of general themes of what could like potentially be brought in for you during this transit, look back to the summer of 2021, late spring, early summer of 2021. um so yeah, I really see Jupiter in Pisces as like a positive thing, and I'm really excited about it. And I feel like we're really going to be expanded in our creativity and our ability to really, again, share our gifts with the world, be more focused on our healing, be more focused on our internal work, and really being embodied in that internal work and taking that outward to expand not only ourselves, but expand the collective and the people around us as well. And really being like seeing things from that humanitarian humanitarian lens, and really focused on like more than just kind of like our own inner work and ourselves. We're really going to be, like I was saying, waking up in a really big way to the things that we can help shift about the collective. You know, be the change you want to see in the world is kind of the energy of this transit of Jupiter into Pisces, and as well as the North Node being in Taurus the next year and a half, starting mid-January. Um, all right. I'm really excited about December, guys. Like, I really feel like it might feel a little, again, ungrounding, unstabling, but we've dealt with that all year and most of 2020. If I'm being honest, like, come on. We've been through a lot of changes. Like, we can do anything at this point. Like, we've created so much resilience based on all the changes that we've experienced as a collective. Anything is possible, literally anything. And so it's just really about being expanded and open to that viewpoint of like, wow, like how far have I come in the last year and a half? And how much work have I done for myself? And how much have I expanded myself? And this is just showing me like what's possible and how much resilience I've cultivated based on that. There's something else I wanted to touch on. Oh, so yeah, I've been talking about this in my weekly updates and on my Clubhouse rooms. If you guys follow me on Clubhouse, I've been talking about this for months. The nodes, while they're about to shift out of Gemini and Sagittarius, are in the channel of the manifesting generator. They're in channel 2034, which is like a once in an 18-year transit that the North Node is in gate 20 and the South Node is in gate 34. This is a once in an 18-year transit. So if you have these nodes in your chart, if you have these nodes if you have the 2034 channel in your chart and you have the nodes in it, this is like your time to wake up to what you're passionate about and do what excites you. Like, for the collective energy, this is the time to really wake up to your passions and to really be doing things that excite you and taking action from those places. Like, we're all kind of operating as manifesting generators right now with this channel being in transit. So like, and then this doesn't mean you are a manifesting generator by any means. If you're not, it just means that you have the ability to access that energy of really like creating based on following your body's responses and following your excitement to things, especially as Jupiter moves into Pisces, like really following your expansion, following your excitement, because it's really going to create miracles for your life. Pisces is a sign of miracles. So Jupiter and Pisces is like unexpected miracles just kind of happening based on us really doing what we love and putting energy and time into our creativity and what we love to do and spend time doing. So big changes, big exciting changes are afoot, guys. I'm so stoked. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really am excited for the next year. And there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot shifting, but it is really expanding us and moving us into a forward, positive, more optimistic direction overall. That's the higher perspective, the higher vision, which I tend to lean towards and look from. I have a Sagittarius moon, so I can be a little bit of a blind optimist, but it is helpful to have that perspective too when things don't seem like they could get better, but they are getting better. So trust, believe, cultivate faith and hope during this time, and it all is going to work out. And I'm so excited for you. I'm rooting for you no matter where you are, what you're doing, or what's going on for you, coming up for you right now. It's a super exciting time. So remember that it's all happening for you, and you're supported, you're divinely guided. And if you're seeking some added support and guidance, I have a ton of offerings on my website that I would be happy to support you with. The knowledge of your astrology and human design, and help you just navigate through this time with ease and with grace, and in a way that's geared towards you as an individual and based on what's going on for you and coming up for you as an individual based on your charts. So thank you for being here with me and on this journey with us, and for being here on this planet at this time, because you're needed and your gifts are needed, and it's time to rise up. And yeah, until next time, stay thriving, and I'm sending you so much love.